I guess overall, once you got married to someone at Lehman Brothers, particularly in that inner circle, right? That was it.
Right.
100% of your life was Lehman Brothers.
Yeah, you gave it all away in return for the money. You gave up everything. You had your children by yourself. You moved house by yourself. In one case, if your child had a seizure, you still had to get on a helicopter to go and visit Lehman President Joe Gregory's new home that he was building, regardless of the fact that your child was really severely ill. You had to pay the amount of money you were told to pay by the head of philanthropy to whatever causes Dick Fuld and Joe Gregory wanted to support. You basically knew that you could not complain. Your life was Lehman's just as much as your husband's was. If not more so in some cases.
I mean, let's just say this. This is from one of the wives, Karen Jack.
Yes.
Okay, so she wrote, Brad Jack was her husband, who was, what was his exact role, Vicky? Because I'm just trying to look in your article and find it. One of the senior guys.
He was co-COO before Joe Gregory.
Before Joe Gregory got the job.
Got rid of him, yes.
So she was in labor, and she had to lie there and didn't get mad at him, even though he had called in the entire Hong Kong office for a meeting on the day his child was supposed to be born.
Right, and he agrees with that. He says, I mean, what I thought was so interesting, because the Jacks are, in fact, no longer married, and he said to me, quite candidly on the phone, that the Lehman culture, in the end, ended their marriage because it just drew them, the hours and the pressure drove them apart. But yeah, he had the Hong Kong office flying in to meet with him, and he knew that if he missed that meeting to go and be with his wife while she gave birth, he could lose his job. He also, in a sort of really blood-curdling anecdote, told me that he got cancer when this was slightly earlier, in 1998, when he was then head of banking, and he was so terrified that he was going to be pushed out of his job by Joe Gregory that he came back to work months before he was supposed to, with staples still in his stomach. And the book is really full of stories like this that kind of show the culture of Lehman, which I think was really pretty treacherous and
all-consuming.
Yes, for everybody.
We're looking at a picture right now of Dick Fuld and his wife. Everyone has described their marriage as incredibly happy. Now, let's hold this picture, this marriage as happy. At least everyone seems to say so. But let's take that other picture up again of the guy with the way too tight shorts. I will note that that photo is from 1984. That's Chris Pettit with his then-wife, Mary Ann.
Yes.
Now, part of this, you write about this man, Chris Pettit, said at a dinner for senior executives, quote, "Look at this. Every single person here is with their original spouse. This is why we're successful, because our word is our honor. We succeed in business because people can trust us." He didn't allow Playboy to be on the trading floors, and then he soon had an affair.
Yes, and that affair, Erin, the affair was his undoing, precisely because he had been seen as the moral authority of the firm, and he was, in fact, far more its leader than Dick Fuld was. He was the day-to-day, hands-on guy. But once he started on the affair, his close friends were very upset. Their wives were all best friends with his wife. And it slightly unhinged him and isolated him in the workplace. And it's a fascinating story. In Lehman, they call it, to this day, the Ides of March, because he was effectively shut down, and his career ended on the 15th of March in 1996. And a year later, he was dead. And so this was probably the most tragic and sad story that's in the book, because this was a guy who at the start of his career was really a much-loved leader and probably more responsible than anyone else for building the culture of the new Lehman.